Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I am talking to you guys about all the stuff that I read in the month of September. It is October 1st, which in my mind is officially the start of the cozy season. Even though in Arkansas we still have several weeks left of 80-degree weather, we just kind of have to pretend for a few weeks, knowing that it is technically fall, even though it doesn't feel like it. But when it finally does cool down and all of the beautiful colors, there's just, a multitude of beautiful fall colors in the trees and the leaves falling everywhere and the wind blowing them around, and it's just super, super awesome, but we've got to get there and we're not there yet. So those of us who love the fall know that there are a few tricks we have to play on ourselves to sort of pretend and convince ourselves that it really is fall, even if it doesn't feel like it. So I thought that I would share with you guys a few cozy things that I have been enjoying to help me get in the fall mood. So the first one is this tea. It is iced tea, yes, and that is because it is 85 degrees outside. But it comes from this place, HTO. I don't know if it's a chain. The sign has an outline of Texas on it, so I kind of think that it is at least a regional thing. But the water is double filtered, and there's no sugar in mine. It's just straight up mint, cold mint tea. It is so good. It's fairly inexpensive, and anyway, my husband and I have been really enjoying these teas. I know I can make it for cheaper at home, but it is nice to have someone make it for you. And you get all this awesome ice, right? But he always gets the sweet Georgia peach, and I got cold mint. So been enjoying that. And then my secret sister bought me this little color book, and Amazon has a bunch of these. So if you search cozy coloring or comfy coloring or something like that, you'll come up with these really cute coloring books. That's what some of the pages are like here. And they're all one-sided, so you can use your markers or whatever. And this is what I have been, I just started coloring in this a couple of weeks ago. I've only done a couple of pages because this is what I work on Friday nights when I'm doing reading sprints with Chrissie and everybody at Chrissie's Purple Library. She hosts reading sprints a couple of Friday nights in the month. And so while we're doing the chatty part of things, I'm coloring, and then while we're doing the reading part, I'm reading. So I've been doing that and enjoying that, and I'd like to get some more of those. And then I've been doing puzzles, and I have found out that I am definitely in my puzzle era. This one, Charles Dickens, I'm just about done with. I moved through this one pretty quickly. I started it last Tuesday, and I could have been done with it Sunday if I would have finished, but I was so close to being done, and I was like, oh, I don't have another puzzle to do after this one, so I didn't want to finish it. And so I kind of whined about it for a couple of days. And then this afternoon I was taking a nap, and my husband came in and woke me up and said, hey, do you want to run and grab a puzzle real quick? So he took me out and bought me another puzzle. So I got King Arthur, which is really beautiful. And so I can finish up Charles Dickens and start my King Arthur one. I'm gonna be really trying to stay home the next few days because, see, this is Wednesday, so on Sunday, our family is taking a 10-day vacation down to Southeast Oklahoma, and we got an Airbnb by a pond, and this is out in the country, and we're just gonna chill and hang out for about 10 days. So I wanna stay home as much as possible these next few days since I'm gonna be gone, right? And so he got me the puzzle so I would have something to do. Obviously, not like I don't have 1,000 things to do, but something cozy to do while I'm enjoying the first week of fall. So I will start that probably tonight. I'm excited. And I'm looking forward to doing this one because the artwork on this one is different than the first two I had. I had the Jane Austen one, and then I had that Charles Dickens one, and they're both by the same artist. And so the Charles Dickens one went a lot quicker than the Jane Austen one, partially because I kind of figured the artist out, right? He was using similar colors, and so I kind of got a feel for how he does things. But this one's a totally different artist, so hopefully it won't go as quickly as this last one did. All right, so let's get into the books I read. Okay, so I'm not actually going to talk about everything that I read in the month of September. I'm actually just going to talk about the stuff that I haven't already talked about this month. Because for the last few months I have been doing weekly wrap-ups, but they end up being like every 10 or 12 days instead of once a week. And I'm just not, you know, it's just not clicking with me to do the weekly wrap-ups like I've tried. So I'm going to go back to doing the every 2 weeks, the halfway through the month and the end of the month. And I think it's because it's the date, right? I know the 15th, got to do the video, but I'm forgetting what day of the week I'm doing the weekly wrap-ups, right? And so I'm always missing them. I'm always late. But if I have the 15th in my head, I know on the 15th I've got to do the mid-month, and then, you know, at the end of the month I got to do the end of the month. So you're just going to see the stuff I haven't talked about yet and the things that I DNF'd. I'm actually inserting this into the video because I realized you guys don't want to hear me talk about all those books over again. So if there's a weird transition here, I apologize. I don't remember what I said. So I gotta say, it wasn't super great reading month. I got 8 books read. I DNF'd 2 books, and then I'm just about, I don't know, I started Great Expectations a few days ago, and like I said, this is the first. I don't think I'll have it done today, but I might have it done tomorrow. I had a lot of Great Expectations actually for September. If you remember my TBR video at the beginning of the month, I had all kinds of different things that I wanted to do for Shorty September and Shake-Tember and all these things, and I just didn't really feel like it. So I did some things, and then I just kind of got in a slump, I think. So I'm hoping for better things for October. This month we are doing Gothic October, so if you've not seen my video on that yet, make sure and check that out. I have a link in the description box, and then you can learn all about Gothic October and join us. There is a Discord below, which when I get done with this, I should probably go on and say hi to everybody on that. Ooh. My grandkids came over today, which threw all of my plans off, which is a blessing. Like, I'm really glad we got to see them, especially since we're getting ready to leave. But everything I had to do today just sort of left my brain, and now it's the end of the day and I'm thinking, I hope there wasn't anything really, like, you know, super pressing in there that I was supposed to do. But anyway, let's get into the books that I read. The last book that I finished for the month is The Girl in the Photograph by Kate Riordan. Now, I had really high hopes for this book. It is a Gothic, like a modern Gothic story. It doesn't take place in modern times. It takes place in the 1930s. It had like all the ingredients for like a spooky, moody, Gothic sort of setup, but it missed the mark. It just seemed too contrived. There was too many coincidences. There was too many easy wrap-ups, too much convenience, you know, and so it just took you out of the mood for sure. It really was the kind of Gothic that Jane Austen was parodying in Northanger Abbey. I picked it up because I was told that this author wrote in the style of like Kate Morton and Kate Moss, both of whom I've really enjoyed their books. But no, I don't think so. I think this author might have a little ways to go before she gets to that caliber, but I also don't know how old this book is, so it's possible that maybe she's there. But this one, not so much. It definitely played off of the story of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, but I wouldn't necessarily compare the two authors as far as writing style goes. The story was really slow moving. It was pretty predictable, and while the ending was a happy ending, it was marred by something that was just kind of over the top for me. Just some horrific things from the past that got revealed, and I was like, you know, that probably didn't really need to happen here. Like, this story wasn't intense enough for the ending that it had. Let's just say that. I do have a lot of spoilers in my Goodreads review if you are interested in reading those, but I would say there are trigger warnings for this one for sure if you have dealt with like miscarriage and child loss. There is a lot of talk about it and one pretty graphic scene, and so if you can't handle stuff like that, I wouldn't pick up this book. I only gave it 2 stars, and that was disappointing for me because I had high hopes. I ordered this from England. I paid money for this thing. And yeah, I don't know that I'll pick up anything else by Kate Riordan, but if somebody out there has read something else that is fantastic, let me know, because I'm willing to give her another try, but somebody's gonna have to convince me. Since my last wrap-up video, that is the only book that I have completely finished. So I had a really big slump. So I finished that one on the 20th, and that's the last book I have finished. So I had several days of slumpiness, and then I picked up Great Expectations 4 days ago, maybe? Yeah, so that to me feels like a real waste. Yeah, that's like a third of the month. Like, that's not okay. So here are the 2 books that I DNF'd. Another Kate, The Taxidermist's Daughter by Kate Moss. I may pick this up in the future. I'm not gonna get rid of it. I picked it up on the heels of this thinking, wow, even if this isn't the greatest book, it'll still be better than this. I have read things by Kate Moss before and enjoyed them. This one I think has the potential to be a good read. I just wasn't in the mood for it once I got into it. And I got pretty good into it. I read at least a day, maybe 2 on this one. And so it was hard to DNF it, but I just was not having it. So it's a soft DNF. We'll see if I come back to it. Then I DNF'd Marie Benedict's Queens of Crime, which was a surprise DNF for me. And again, I will probably pick this up again later, but I need to do a little more reading before I read this. If you were following me last month, you know that I read her book called The Mystery of Mrs. Christie and adored it. Like, I recommended it all over the place, and I still do. It was so good. I really, really loved it. One of the things I loved about it is I felt like she really captured Agatha Christie's voice. At least the Agatha Christie that she was portraying throughout the majority of the story. And actually clear all the way through that story, she portrayed Agatha just as she would have been. I so much want to tell you everything about that story, but spoilers, right? You gotta just read it. It's so good. I should have put that in my mom's birthday book. Sorry, Mom, you're gonna get a second box because I think you need to read that. Anyway, so I picked this up thinking, wow, that author is fantastic. I totally love that story. I'm gonna love this one. This is a really fun story that she wrote about, I think it's 5 women detectives during the time of Agatha Christie and Baroness Orczy. And the Baroness is a little bit older than the rest of the ones here. Dorothy Sayers and Niall Marsh, and the other one is someone I don't know. I can't remember who it is, but that's the problem. This reads completely different. The voice is totally different in this story. It is much more just kind of like flippant, and it's so much more like not serious and not like, I don't know, committed. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to get at, but it just seemed like a fluffy women's fiction. And I definitely read a lot more literary fiction. Like, I struggle with fiction to begin with. And so if it's not a classic or it's not something super literary, then I really do struggle. And this one read a little bit more like something that I normally struggle with. I don't know. It's not literary fiction, right? So my question is, did this author just, in my mind anyway, have like a one-hit wonder and everything else is gonna be like that by this author? And then just for some reason I really took to that one book because I love Agatha Christie? Or is it that this author has a really fantastic way of speaking with the voice of the character she's writing about, and I just don't know Dorothy Sayers, who is the, voice of the book. I just don't know her well enough, and so I'm missing that. And the author is actually fantastic, right, at all of that. So what I need to do is go read some Dorothy Sayers and read some biographical information on her, and then come back to this book, because I think that I will get a lot more out of it, and I will probably love it just as much as I loved Agatha Christie. I think the lack is actually in me and not necessarily in this author. So that's the grace I'm giving. So yeah, that is all that I have gotten done since that last weekly wrap-up video. So End of September, super slumpy, and I have no reason. I wasn't busy. I just couldn't get into anything. When I was making the video that I put out about the 20 books for fall, I think it was that one. It may have been my October TBR, but I'm pretty sure it was the fall video. I talked about Great Expectations, and I hadn't read this in a really long time. Probably, I think 2017 was the last time I read Great Expectations. And so when I pulled it off my shelf, I was like, wow, I really want to read that. And so I did. I started it that night, and I have been enjoying it. Like right away, I was just like, yes, I love this. I love this. But the thing about this story and Dickens in general is there are parts where things drag because he's super wordy, right? So this book has been kind of driving me nuts because it's really good. It starts out really great. Then it starts to drag. And just about the point where I'm like, do I really want to read this again? Because it's like 500 pages. Then it picks up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read it. It's really great. And then it starts to drag and I'm like, should I just put it away? And then it picks up. So we really just need to like push through because it is a great story. I super love it. I just have to know I got to get through the draggy parts. The problem is when he gets on the draggy parts, I start to wonder, is this gonna affect, like, does this, I don't even remember this part. Is this part of the like overall importance of the story, or are we just seeing like the life of Pip today or what? So it all comes together. It's all a great story. He's so funny. And of course, after, you know, these 8 years of reading and kind of growing my reading comprehension, I'm getting a lot more out of it, understanding characters and settings a lot more. One of the things that I'm noticing that I'm really loving is that I'm able to picture the London scenes. I'm able to picture the river scenes. And so I wasn't able to do that the time before. I had been to England a few times, but I hadn't really studied London. I hadn't been in London a lot or studied the history of it. And so just picturing the different, you know, the places that he's actually at, and, you know, the trains that he's hopping and all the stuff, like, I'm getting it in my head. I have it in my head better because like I've been there or had similar experiences. So I really love that. And I love that, you know, that's what travel does to us, right? When you, even something local, and then you pick up a story about a place that you've been, it changes the whole thing, right? Because now you're relating and you're part of that. And you're like, wow, I've been there and Pip's been there and that's crazy. Right, so that's where I'm gonna leave it. It is October 1st. I have high hopes. If you guys are interested in what I'm looking at reading in October, I have a October plans video that I have put out. Check out my video on the Gothic October reading event if you are interested in that. And then I will probably get maybe one more video out before we head to Oklahoma, but I will definitely be doing some videos there and I'll show you guys kind of what the area looks like. We're gonna have 2 field trips, so you guys will get to see a little bit more travel vlogging. I've heard from several of you how much you're enjoying the travel vlogging that I'm adding to the videos. And I'm really glad about that because I personally love to see where people live or where people visit, just getting, you know, a glimpse of other places and the things that, you know, my friends online are liking to do, and the coffee shops you go to and the bookshops and the, you know, whatever, travel. I just love that. So I'm glad that you guys are loving that as well. All right, I will see you soon. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Bye-bye.